Our next session is SAMURAI125. SAMURAI125 is a new project of lives. Japanese business leaders will work with the employees to redesign the organization with the aim of creating an inclusive society in order to support activities that will drive transformation in the Japanese society. The corporate seminar will begin in November. Today we invited 2 leaders of global companies who will discuss what Japan can learn from the world. So we give the floor to the discussants. Please give them a big round of applause. Please welcome them with a big round of applause. The 3 panel discussants will show up on the podium. So thank you for coming to the SAMURAI125 event. Ms. Reiko Hayashi, Director and Deputy President at B of Bank of America Securities of Bank of America. Masanori Suzuki, Head of Employee Success for Japan and Korea, Managing Executive Officer at Salesforce Japan. Thank you for having me. Dr. Hirotaka Takeuchi, Senior Fellow Professor at Harvard Business School, ICU, and Chair of the Board of Trustees, will serve as the moderator for this session. So I give the floor to you, 3 of you. Thank you for your kind introduction. So this SAMURAI125, you may not be too familiar with this term. So the Davos Economic Conference, Valuable 500, was the companies that were selected in the World Economic Forum. It was in 2019 they started this Valuable 500 companies. So we wanted to do something similar, disseminating this approach from Japan, and it was titled SAMURAI125, something similar to Valuable 500. Valuable 500, 500 excellent companies have already been selected from the global community, and they don't recruit any more companies. SAMURAI125 is still in the process of deploying or enlarging the networks, and they have just kicked off. It's a network of the corporate managers, corporate leadership, and diversity and inclusion is the focus of their attention. So leaders of the corporates, and because I belong to the business school, I am supposed to be serving as the moderator. And also as speakers, these 2 people, the leadership of 2 companies who are very active in this field has been invited as the discussants for this panel. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for having me. So it's a 1-minute self-introduction of myself. Bank of America in Tokyo, in the B of A Securities. I am the Deputy President and Director. My name is Reiko Hayashi, and globally, we in the DNY world, what our company does, I would like to share with all of you. Again, thank you for having me. So good afternoon, everybody. Salesforce Japan. I am the head of employee success for Japan at Salesforce. At Salesforce in 1999 in San Francisco, it was inaugurated. It's a cloud-based business application, provides a business application on the cloud. So it's an IT company, computer company, and it's a human resource division that I belong to. In English, we call it employee success. And so the direct translation is we want to drive the success of the employees. How do we drive the employees' success from behind is our mission, the mission of the division. So people with different, diverse backgrounds, so that they can be true to yourself and still have job satisfaction. From the human resource point of view, we want to support such people. We heard from such wonderful people in the beginning, so I want to kind of fight back and show how wonderful things we do in the business. So without further ado, the pioneer in Japan and the role model, Bank of America, Ms. Hayashi, please freely tell us and give us your inputs. So not that we are a role model, but if I may, so I said Bank of America earlier. Those of you who may not know us, so it's in the 35 countries of the world, 210,000 employees are hired by us. In Japan, we have about 700 employees. 1947, we came to Japan, so our presence has been quite long. This is the 75th year anniversary. In the United States, we have been around from the 19th century with the acquisition of various companies. So we said 310,000 people. We are only 700 strong in Japan. So who do we work with? From what nationality people do we work with? This person, when did he join us after college? We don't really worry about these things. These things are quite trifle. I mean, if we talk about these things, I can go on for half an hour. So people from 35 countries. And it's a global business clients, and also we work with individual clients, private clients in the U.S. And so the people, employees with diverse backgrounds, we want them to perform and to establish a long-standing culture and the history. You need to know various stakeholders in each of the societies, and so employees from diverse backgrounds, not just focusing on their diversity, with these people, this is the topic of today as well. Unless you do the business in an inclusive manner, business will never be long-standing. There will be no success. So this is essential to us, indispensable to us, the inclusivity. And I speak to various customers. So this diversity and all these ESG that is in fashion right now, popular right now, has taken root, and today I am speaking to the business leadership. So if we try to do it top down or bottom down, we have to do it both ways, top down and bottom up. Otherwise, it won't work. So, sometimes they say, okay, CSR division will take care of it, or certain so-and-so division will take care of it. But forget it, unless the top leadership has that kind of awareness and would promote it or endorse it. Otherwise, you cannot sustain it as a company. So in our company, our CEO said that ESG is conducive to a responsible growth, and the ESG lies in the core there. And this S, which is the topic of today's event, in diversity and inclusion should be driven in the corporate and in the society. Various, even if you are placed in a very demanding position, challenging position for those people, including the mobility, we should try to close the gap, bridge the gap with the power of financial sector. And relentlessly, over and over again, we are told this by our CEO. And this kind of philosophy we want to spread and let it take root, permeate in the Japanese culture. Maybe because of that, maybe not. In 2019, when I became the deputy president, the CEO, our president is also a female, and we laugh about this a lot. The president and the deputy president is just because we are both female, the Nikkei gave our photos on their paper, and we were startled that just because of this small achievement, we get all these spotlight. So that these things are taken as a news, or that these things hit the headline, is symbolic of how the Japanese situation.
Well, listening to Ms. Hayashi, I really felt sympathized or felt the same way. I think it's normal that we're seeing this trend. Bottom, is it the right word to use? But to listen to the employees' voice is something that we have to do right now as management. The methodologies are varied. One is the ESG group, and we call it Equality Group. People with disability or LGBTQ, and Earth Force is a group that tries to improve the environment. They gather as volunteers and conduct various activities. And the employees, we call them arai, but they become supporters. Around the world, we have about 50% of the employees that belong to that kind of groups, and they conduct activities with people with various backgrounds. They support them, and they try to broaden their perspective, and I think that's very important. And then the management, the executives, the business leaders, they also join as supporters. They try to understand the environment. They look at the challenges and see whether the company can also do some support. Or make a system in the company. That's very important. Ever since Salesforce was established, we thought that business is the best platform to change the society. Recently, not only the shareholders, but the employees and other stakeholders, we call it stakeholders capitalism. So we are all colleagues, families, to improve and make this world better. And the company had been serious about this ever since it was established. 1% of the stock, 1% of the profit, and 1% of the employees' time is used for this kind of activity. We have 5 core values, and one of the core value is equality. So we don't want this equality to be just a pie in the sky. We really need the bottom-up activity, top-down activity. We conduct employee survey, and we try to improve it daily. One other thing, we have Chief Equality Officer, and right now he's in the HR, or the Employee Success Division. He looks at, or she looks at, whether all these activities are going well. From the top perspective, this activity is being monitored. So that kind of perspective from the management, and also we hear the employees' voices so that we can create the appropriate environment. Is there anything positive coming out of these activities? Some will ask. I think yes, there are. One is that people with various backgrounds, they can be themselves. If we create an environment where they are really themselves, this will enhance the motivation of the employees. And when they have motivation, then they will provide better services to the customers. And we have referral recruit. We say, please refer to your friends. So recruitment activity is also helped by our system. So each one of us can be really ourselves. That kind of environment has positive merits to business, and it will also improve the world. Thank you so much. There's one more question. May I? So both of you are talking about top-down, bottom-up. At salesforce.com, that Mark Benioff at Harvard Business School, he's the person of case study at Harvard Business School. He's really a drastic person. So if Mr. Suzuki, you become the global CEO, then this SAMURAI125, this organization, if you become in charge of this SAMURAI125, what would you like to do? Wow, I see. That's a question that we hadn't anticipated. That was not in the script. Well, there are various people with disabilities, and I think there are various voices. So we need to really listen to these voices. I think we need the mechanism to listen to these voices. We're a company of technology, so we should really use our technology effectively. We can have that kind of strategy, or we can connect the voices to social policies. There are ways to do that. So I think there are a lot of things that businesses can do. So politics or community, how do we coordinate with them to improve this world?
Sounds good. In order to change the world, digitization is a key, such as cloud, as a specialty in cloud. Maybe by using data analytics, maybe people can be connected with each other, and that will be great. Yes, in real time, we'll pick up things, and we should be able to hear real voice, and then we should have more chance to be able to hear real voice. SAMURAI125, I hope this is going to be a good opportunity to enhance digital to the world. And Ms. Hayashi, so I'm a card holder of Bank of America, and with Bank of America, of course, has a long history. And in Japan, that's the longest enterprise. And I think we have this common point in that sense. So after you became a CEO, Ms. Hayashi, at headquarters, and as a long-standing company, is there anything you can learn from a Japanese corporation? I'm sorry, this is off the script, but what you can learn from Japanese corporation? That is an extremely difficult question. I love Japan. You know, what's so great about Japan is hospitality. Japan, hospitalization or tourism, I think is the best fit for Japanese economy. It's because all sorts of people do global business trip. And then in Japan, everyone is impressed that without paying so much money, you can have this superior, fabulous dinner and a fabulous experience. That's quite unique to Japan. And now, if such hospitality is available all over the world, I think Japan should do something more specific to make it as a value. So as a finance professional, I'd like to make it like a value. And I forgot to mention this, but in finance, there are all these things that has value or contribution to the environment or diversities, But maybe now there are more instruments that make the financial instrument that make, for example, the interest rate lower. So I think diversity should be some kind of a financial instrument or commodity. It could be intangible asset which we can sympathize, we can share with each other, and then that will create the economic value. And then that can be returned to the people. So that was all of a sudden the question out of the blue. But in Web3 there is a talk concept, that kind of a value, a token, that value should be recognized as a token. I think that would be great if the value becomes a token. Now it's time in the future. BOA, Bank of America CEO Ms. Hayashi, please create a card. And also the worldwide, or it's not a Salesforce sort of a CEO. They will become a leader for Samurai 125. So please do remember their faces. Ms. Hayashi and Mr. Suzuki and Mr. Takeuchi, thank you for your talk session.